Assalamualaikum and very good morning. So today we from group 9 are going to present our mini project which is monosodium glutamate. So I am Shukri Jamri with metric number 183578. We'll explain briefly about our ingredients of choice which is monosodium glutamate. So what is actually monosodium glutamate? Or more popularly known as MSG. So basically MSG is actually the sodium salt of glutamic acid, which is one of the most abundant naturally occurring non-essential amino acids out there. So basically it has the chemical formula of C2H10 and NaO5. So, monosodium glutamate can be naturally found in food ingredients such as tomatoes and Parmesan cheese and many more. Uh, but monosodium glutamate, the main use of MSG is actually it is used in the industry as a flavor enhancer because it triggers the umami taste in our tongue, which intensifies the savory flavor of food. So, who actually discovered this MSG? So, the amazing person who have discovered these amazing ingredients is known as Kikune Ikeda, a Japanese biochemist. So, upon discovering this material, he quickly patented the material and then managed to make lots of money out of it. Controversial issues regarding health issues, MSG is actually recognized safe by the US Food and Drug Administration. So some people have claimed that MSG is the main cause for weakness, heart palpitation, numbness, or all of these syndromes are known as the Chinese restaurant syndrome. But actually, there are no good evidence that was found to support all those claims. So, for MSG, there are three main methods of production. The oldest one, which is found by Kikune Ikeda, is the production of MSG through the hydrolysis of vegetable. And then the second method is direct chemical synthesis of acrylonitrile. And then the most commonly method used, which is the method we use nowadays, is the bacterial fermentation method.
Hi, my name is Pujinurai Nitimunda Amaisman. My team number is 179347. Okay, I will present about the chemical process that involved in production of MSG. Okay, chemical process that involved is chemical synthesis. Okay, chemical synthesis is process to obtain many substances that important to daily life, and it is a construction of complex chemical substance or compound from simpler one. Okay, the reaction that involved is the gas was synthesized and then reacted with the acrylonitrile to yield 4-ozo-butylonitrile. Okay, then the ammonia cyanide was added to synthesis to aminopectin dinitrile. Then after that, the dinitrile was hydrolyzed with caustic soda, which is known as the sodium hydroxide, to produce the L-disodium glutamate. Okay, sulfuric acid is used as catalyst to adjust the pH of reaction solution in order to prepare the optical resolution of glutamic acid. Then L and D glutamic acid C crystal was separated by a screen in an oval shaped crystallization tank, and then were filled with a solution of the racemic mixture of the glutamate. Okay, then after that, the L-glutamic acid were neutralized and processed to MSG. So the MSG is produced from the L-glutamic acid. It is the figure 1 that show the reaction of the producing glutamic acid from the disodium glutamate by using a catalyst sodium sulfuric acid. Okay, then the figure 2 is reaction of producing monosodium glutamate from the L-glutamic acid after separation. Okay, next the catalyst used is a sulfuric acid, that is to adjust the pH of reaction solution in order to prepare the optical resolution of glutamic acid. Then is also used to convert DL disodium glutamate into a glutamic acid and speed up the reaction.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Nur Jafni bin Jamaluddin. My metric number is 181808. So I'm going to explain to you what the reactor used for chemical synthesis of monosodium glutamate. So we use a microreactor as the reactor for monosodium glutamate in chemical synthesis. If we compare to batch reactor and also microreactor, microreactor have small surface to volume ratio, which are able to absorb more heat efficiently because of their superior heat exchange efficiency. Besides, the mixing efficiency of microreactor is better than batch reactor. This is because microreactor have a regime that will mix the reactant efficiently with its small path length of few centimeters. What is the operating condition of chemical synthesis of monosodium glutamate in microreactor? So, the optimal pH for the condition of MSG through the chemical synthesis is about 6.8 until 7.2, which is considered as the neutral pH. For temperature, microreactor with an advanced heat efficiency actually capability perform synthesis with a neat region at an external cooling of only -3 degrees Celsius. The temperature within the microreactor is kept at 8 degrees Celsius. This allows the ionic liquid to be produced with a purity exceeding 99% with only traces of undesired products. With a simple pressure valve installed to the microreactor, the reaction was carried out at an elevated pressure of 2 bar. This high pressure increased the boiling factor of the reactor sufficiently of 58 degrees Celsius. That is an ideal operating temperature for the catalyst.
My name is as shown above. My name is Nofatina Bila binti Tajuk Arifin, holding metric card number 184787. Okay, for my part, I will explain about reaction in enzymatic method, which is the alternative method for MSG production, which is monosodium glutamate production. We have alternative method, which is fermentation. So firstly, I want to describe you about fermentation. Do you know what is fermentation? Okay, so fermentation in food processing is the process of carbohydrate converted to alcohol or organic by using microorganisms such as yeast or bacteria under anaerobic condition. Okay, to be related to this production of MSG, which is fermentation, it applies by a synthesis of specific amino acid in a large amount by a specifically selected microorganism in culture. I will describe the microorganism that used in MSG production in my next part, which is enzyme. Okay. I'll show you some figure. So this is the figure. Figure above shows that flow of production of MSG by microbial fermentation process, which is what I'm going to concern about in alternative enzymatic method is microbial fermentation process. Okay, for MSG, it is made by sugar cane through fermentation by glutamic acid producing microbe. Okay, first, sugar cane is converted into glucose. The glucose will then sent to the fermentation tank. Later, the fermentative microorganism is added. Then the fermentative microorganism will take in the glucose as food. In return, release glutamic acid, which is in the production of monosodium glutamate. The enzyme that produce MSG, which is we use Corynebacterium glutenicum. Okay, Corynebacterium glutenicum, capable to produce large quantities of S-glutamic acid. It could give a yield about 30% from carbohydrate. This glutamic acid producing bacteria all are coroniform bacteria, which are gram-positive, non-spore forming, and non-motile microorganism, which is it can't move. Okay, so they will need a biotin to grow. What is biotin? Okay, biotin is a cofactor or vitamin used by enzyme that carboxylate substrate. One such enzyme is acetyl-CoA carboxylase that converted acetyl-CoA plus CO2, this is the equation, to malonyl-CoA in the first step of fatty acid biosynthesis. Okay. With this presence of biotin, the cell membrane is impermeable to glutamate, giving an over-accumulation of glutamate. Since sugarcane is rich in biotin, this material could not be used as source of glucose in microbial fermentation until biotin inhibiting additive is being discovered. So this situation has been recovered by the addition of sugar to increase the carbohydrate content in the culture medium. Since the fermentation is an aerobic process, oxygen is applied by aeration, and then the fermenter is stirred. So we can produce more S-glutamic acid, and by glutamic acid present, we can produce more MSG. Thank you.
My name is Nuzuriati binti Zakaria. My metric number is 182214. Okay, for my parts, which is part C, the alternative methods to produce MSG. So for the reactor, we choose fat-based reactor because fat-based reactor is most commonly run as mode of operation. In this mode, the reactor is added with sugar during the fermentation process, and fresh media is continuous and periodically added to the bioreactor. But unlike a continuous reactor, there is no continuous removal. When the fermentation has finished or the reactor is full, the fermenter is emptied or partially emptied for downstream process. And the reason for using the fat-based reactor is because all components are present at the beginning of the process. Okay. Next, for the operating conditions, the enzyme activity must be checked on 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8 days of incubation in the different substrate at pH 7 and at room temperature to determine the effect of incubation period on enzyme production. Temperature also affects the enzyme production by fermentation in diverse substrates and incubated at 30 degrees Celsius, 37 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius, 45 degrees Celsius, and 50 degrees Celsius at pH 7 for 6 days. Next, pH on enzyme production is in different substrate can be determined by adjusting the pH on basal salt solutions to 4, 5.5, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, and 9. Then the substrates should be incubated for 6 days at room temperature. Supplementing the basal salt solutions at pH 7 with 2% of different carbon sources such as glucose, maltose, lactose, sucrose, and starch can give good effect on enzyme production. The substrates were incubated for 6 days at room temperature. And the last one, 2% of natural nitrates ammonium sulfates, ammonium chloride, ammonium nitrates, and potassium nitrates can replace the nitrogen salts in vessel salt solutions and incubated at room temperature for 6 days at pH 7.
Now, I'm going to explain to you about the impact of the chemical synthesis method and the alternative, which is the bacterial fermentation method, towards the society. So basically, the chemical synthesis method, they started using that method in the year 1961, and then they actually have to stop using that method in the year 1973 because basically the main material for the chemical synthesis method is a very harmful material, which is the acrylonitrile. So acrylonitrile has been recognized by the type 2B carcinogen because of the hazard of the materials. They just it has impact a lot of the workers that is exposed to the acrylonitrile. So they have uh, most of the workers that have been exposed with the acrylonitrile has been diagnosed with lung cancer, and thus the industry just decided to stop using chemical synthesis method in the year 1973. And then let's go back to the bacterial fermentation method. Actually, the bacterial fermentation method and the chemical synthesis method started around the same period of time, which is around 1960s. But in the earlier years, bacterial fermentation was not favoritations where it has to fulfill the conditions that if you want to use the bacterial fermentation method, it has to be in the biotin limiting conditions. And we thought that they cannot produce a large amount of glutamic acid. So upon the halt of the chemical synthesis method, they managed to further research into the bacterial fermentation method, and then they found out that when penicillin is added into the bacterial fermentation method, they don't need the biotin limiting conditions. Thus, a large amount of glutamic acid can be produced by using the bacterial fermentation method, and then the that is the kind of process that we use up to today. So basically, bacterial fermentation method is better than chemical synthesis method.